welcome to Eco Watch International News. Good morning, everyone. My name is Giselle McCrae, and joining me here today, I have Miss Yeshuba Parks. Today, we have a special segment for you guys that takes us into the fields, connecting with those who work on the front lines, navigating the rivers and seas of Guyana. But before we dive into our discussions, let's take a moment to set the stage for our viewers. I presume most of them have been following Guyana's rapid development in the oil industry, and given the amount of oil that Guyana has been exporting, it is predicted to become the fourth largest oil producing country in the world. That's some really exciting news, isn't it?
It is actually, Giselle, but we must bear in mind that in addition to the propensity for greater development through the oil and gas sector, we must also remember that there are responsibilities that will be attached to that. And we have been hearing that there are several concerns in regards to the long-term and short-term impact it may have or is expected to have on our seas, our oceans, our rivers, and more specifically on our fishermen, because we do know that they are people who are out there who are fishing for several years, and they have been relying on that as an income to take care of themselves and family. So these are other things we must take into consideration as well.
That's an excellent point. Well, today that is our focus, Miss Parks. We want to check in on our fishermen at sea, and we want to see how much they understand about international environmental law and how the oil exploration has affected persons that heavily depend on the sea for business and their livelihood.
Excellent. Well, I think that's definitely a great part of our segment today. With no further ado, we will turn to reporters who have been on the field since 4 a.m. this morning. So viewers, let's turn to reporters.
All right, great. So we're here from Eco Watch International News Agency, and we are interviewing Mr. Rohan.
So far, that since the dryness island in this country, the fish not really catching in. We not go far like the Winey side, quarantine side, and some fishing, the Kajanari fishing.
Okay, and before that though, where were you doing the fishing?
Well, of course, we used to fishing right out there, but since it
Right
started,
out here, like stop
right.
area.
But since it started, we not getting fish.
Oh, okay. And I do know that we've had the artificial island, and I know about 2 years ago, a lot of fishermen, they were saying that they were unable to catch any fish or anything.
Because the island is so close and them Chinese seeing boat and so they can't get home.
Oh, okay. And so you believe as a result of the oil and gas that is currently happening outside of the Stabroek Block, you actually believe that you believe, and are there others with you who actually
Yeah, no for the fisherman is we complain.
Okay, and tell us something about pollution though. You know, pollution is a big topic internationally and even locally here in Guyana. Can you tell us how has pollution impacted your trade?
Well,
Have you seen any, for example, when you're out at sea, do you see a lot of garbage out at the sea or
yeah,
anything?
see plenty garbage float like bottle, plastic bag.
Yeah. But what do you do when you see these things? Is there any body or anything that you reported to?
No,
No, you never reported, because each of us actually have a responsibility in doing that. But in terms of in international environmental law, there are certain treaties that Guyana actually signed into, where according to Article 193, governments have a responsibility to protect the marine life and to ensure that nothing, is done to harm the marine life. Do you think that more can be done?
Yeah, man, I think so. Yeah.
What do you think can be done?
Well, at least I have to think the fisherman. Them now, yeah, no, we are. Because we not get the amount of fish we used to catch.
Yeah. And have you seen a decline in the species of fishes that you're
Well,
catching?
normally used to catch some big fish. Now the fishing they not get chance to go.
Yeah.
They gotta go far for them.
And are you seeing a decline in the species of fishes?
Nah.
No, the same type of fish you're
Yes.
catching. All right, Mr. Rohan, thank you so
Okay,
much,
welcome.
and thank you for choosing to do the interview with
Okay.
us. Have a good day.
You too.
But do you think, though, in your personal opinion, that the government is doing anything also to protect not only the trade, but to protect the marine life in general?
Yeah, they're doing nothing. Nothing, doing not.
But what do you think can be done?
Yeah, that's not exporting it, but since the drilling is causing a lot of
So
problems.
you feel as if the current oil and gas industry has had a negative impact on
Since
the
it
trade?
started. As a fisherman, I used to go to sea to catch no fish. You
Yeah,
catching fish in the corner all over easy. You know, you going and catch fish. They're driving up and down like here. Good bun out already, so you
yeah.
really catching inside.
We were talking to one of the captains, and now they're saying that they actually have to spend over 3 weeks now, almost 4 weeks out at sea.
21 days, 25 days.
Yeah, and before, based on like
11
10 years
days.
ago, 10 years
11 days, 9 days, 10 days, 8 days.
That's and then and what do you think though? The volume of fish that you would have brought in 10 years ago compared to now, is it the same?
No, value like less.
You not get half the amount.
You don't get in half the amount now. And they get a little smaller too, like, as the thing like.
Because the fish are probably not getting a chance to grow.
When you see them, if you walk in here, when we used to go fishing, and you walk in at the end of the trench for going fishing, suddenly you see fish start running out, got a feeling of vibration coming.
Mm-hmm.
And if you shaking up down here, all the time and fish is now coming, then fish can go on for me and go on somewhere.
Yeah. But tell us about the artificial island though. I know that a lot of the fish folk, they were talking about the artificial island just off Breeding Hope side.
Down here, sir?
Yeah, where persons were saying that as a result of all the sand being poured in that particular spot, they were saying that they were not able, they had to go for it to end.
Yeah, there was a spot people used to go and just come out here and go and do this and catch fish. Now, no, you can nothing catching a place.
But tell us in terms of pollution though, do you see like there's a lot of pollution in the water and so on, or do you think that the land pollution here from persons here is actually going out at sea where persons are going to fish? Do you think that is happening?
No, the pollution really isn't thing fish. Them pollution.
No, but do you encounter like a lot of plastic bottles and so on out in the sea or the
them thing that when you throw them thing, if them thing go about them thing going in a can of bottle and so much like yes, it's some bush. You see that on the pond sea, breeze and fish and catching, so it's causing a big problem.
Right. Thank you so much.
And we are back, guys. Our reporters have been in field since 4 a.m. to get coverage of these fishers and their opinions. We've heard that fishers are out there from 12 a.m. until sunrise. And most of the reviews were not as positive as we'd like to hear. And sadly, it just confirmed most of what we've been hearing from the news over the past 3 years.
Yes.
So, Ms. Parks, what do you think about what we've heard today?
Well, if I may say, Giselle, based on the information that was provided to us by our reporters who were there since 4 a.m. this morning live, we noticed that many persons are not aware of international environmental law.
Yeah.
And we do see that from the previous introduction we would have given to the program. Basically, you're not only looking at development now, but we're looking at a sustainable development, which means that whatever measure we use, it must not impact negatively, or it must not have a long-lasting impact on our future generations, which include our marine life, on our ecosystems. So there we have it.
I agree so much. And I also, I don't know how to feel about hearing the fishermen complain about how most of them have to start selling out their boats and how they can't even afford to feed their families. This is devastating.
It is.
And I'm not sure what we could recommend the government to do, but I know it has to start somewhere because our fishing industry is just as important, as Ms. Parks would have stated earlier, that with great prosperity, we have a great responsibility.
Exactly.
And I think Guyana needs to take up the mantle to ensure that even though we're booming in the oil sector, that we don't negate and neglect our fishing industries, because we are the land of many waters. So we need to preserve
what is in the water as well as the water.
Yes.
So if I may say, if or fish is a part of us, because I mean, we are a natural economy. We are a natural people. So, we rely heavily on our marine system. We rely heavily on our agriculture. We rely heavily on our ecosystems. So these are things we don't want to destroy for the future generation. But as we are building, we want to ensure that we sustain them.
Yes,
So
I agree. Okay, and I think that is it for us today, guys. Thank you for joining in, and I hope to see you next time.